lost all desire to read tarot. At least at this point in time. And I don't know what the future holds, but I also don't care. It doesn't matter. If I kindle a new relationship with it at some point in the future, then that will be as desired and great, and if not, great. Doesn't really matter either way. I've just come to realize for myself, because I only ever speak from my experience, that the relationship that I had with it is one that no longer makes sense to me. It's one that I feel I just have outgrown. Maybe in more new agey words, it would be said, it's just not serving me anymore. Yes, I am poking fun at myself. But for some time, it's felt different. It stopped feeling good. To put it plainly, it stopped feeling good to me. And I grappled with that for a long time, thinking I was doing something wrong, that something was wrong with me. Because that's the way that I have approached relationships in the past, and everything is relational. This is all connection and experience. And in the past, if something that did work and did feel good stopped working and stopped feeling good, I assumed it was my fault. First of all, that there was a problem, right? Something has gone wrong. And second of all, it must be me. It must be something in me. And so I've been pushing at it for a long time. There's been trying, there's been efforting, and it's difficult to see when you're inside of it. And it did come into my awareness that, if this is taking so much effort and so much struggle, then why am I doing it? Maybe it's just not the thing, right? That this is just not the thing I want to do. In the past, I would have put that into other words, other kind of more new agey words, like it's just not the path, it's not the right thing for me. And I'm not saying those things are wrong. I'm just saying I would like to state it more plainly and more accurately. Because at this point, to me, that all feels like adding to a story. Not saying telling stories is wrong. I'm just more and more interested in the bare bones, in the plainest of plain truth that I can look at, which very often is very few words. And it's not ambiguous. It's straight, it's to the point. I would call it a Queen of Swords kind of energy. I still have a deep love and appreciation for the practice of tarot. And this isn't about anybody else who reads or what their relationship with it is, right? This is my experience, this is my relationship. And the relationship as it has been isn't working. I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. nobody's done anything wrong. Nobody is wrong. It's just, it doesn't feel good. There's no desire. And I was realizing that when I started pulling tarot cards, when I started with this, when I started really heavily meditating, started reading tarot, started into all of this stuff kind of at the same time, my energy was very different. And what I mean by that is my way of being, my way of seeing existence, my perspective, all of that was very different. I was in a state of seeking, with the feeling that something was missing. I was looking for something, for someone. I was looking for answers. I was looking for understanding. I was seeking guidance. Where do I go? What do I do? It was a lot of this outwardly projected energy. I was just in a state of seeking. And again, I'm not criticizing that. It got me here. But because my relationship with certain practices, with really all the practices, Qigong, meditation, reading tarot, energy work, whatever, all of that, that started because I was seeking. And all of those things became means to an end. And they all served me in that way. But I'm seeing that anything that is taken on as a means to an end, as a means to achieve something, you will get to some other side. You will reach some sort of achievement, but it will be very temporary. Right? Because that's the energy that you're engaged in. Is not having. It's not arriving. It's journeying. It's seeking. It's traveling. It's I'm walking the path. I'm looking for the path. I'm always looking for the path. Where's the path leading me next? Forward looking into the future. Sometimes the past. Where has the path taken me? Where can I see that I have grown because of my looking backwards on the path? And now I know that I will grow because I'm looking forwards on the path. But I'm never here. As long as I am on this journey, I'm not arriving. I'm not reaching a destination. Why am I seeking guidance? Questions that I am asking myself now. What guidance is there when there is nowhere to go? I don't want to go anywhere. There isn't anywhere to go anyway. I am aware that that is an illusion. And the only place that is the only place I want to be, and that is right here, right now, where everything is. This is existence. There is not existence in some future projected place or some past projected place. It's only ever right now. It's only ever existing. Existence is only ever existing now. I can only ever see it, engage with it, interact, experience it right now. That's where all the joy is. That's where all the pleasure is. There isn't anything out there, so what guidance could I possibly need? All that guidance is going to point to is taking me somewhere, but I don't care where I'm going. I care about being where I am. And I realized last night, as I was pulling cards for myself, which I don't do very often these days, and I was in a state of frustration and agitation and anxiety, and it was difficult. It It was really difficult. It was sticky. It was clunky. I was frustrated. Things weren't making sense. Some things, I mean, they got through anyway, but it wasn't fun. And I was berating myself for it not being fun. Again, saying that I'm doing something wrong. And then I realized the only thing that's happening is I'm forcing myself to do something that I don't want to do. I'm pushing against my own truth right now. The truth is, I don't want guidance. Because there's nowhere that I want to be guided. I just want to be right here. And I want to be trusting myself. There is this push happening with me, with my own energy, my own experience created by myself. This push to stop looking for and listening for anything that feels like it's outside of me. Anything that, and it's helpful because it's revealing in my perspective areas where I'm still perceiving separation, but I feel that I am pushing myself to stay within myself, if that makes sense. To stay within myself, being my experience of my being, listening to me. And not really asking questions either. Questions don't seem to have a point anymore. There is no point to questioning anything. It all feels like a distraction from seeing what is. And as long as I am seeing clearly what is, which does not take comprehension, it does not take understanding, those things tend to obscure it. As long as I am seeing clearly what is, I feel good. It doesn't matter what the content is when I am looking at its existence, at its isness, and I'm recognizing the sameness of myself with that. And then it's like I'm in on this beautiful little secret, like I am making eye contact with myself, hidden in everything that is. But it's not just myself, it's not Allie, it's not a personal me. It is just the same self. I am seeing consciousness. Consciousness that is conscious of me being conscious of it. And there is this sparking, there is this interplay of awareness and joy. Suddenly I can feel tears wanting to come. That's just it. Like, that's where it all is. And I know this. I've seen this before. And in fact, another thing I was remembering last night is the first time I really saw this clearly. It was about a week to 2 weeks, give or take, a week to 2 weeks before the woman who is now my wife told me that she liked me. And that is what she said. She said, I really, really like you. Cutest thing ever. And in that time period, in that week to 2 weeks before that happened, I started seeing the aliveness, the consciousness in everything. And loving it and dwelling in that space, and it felt so fucking good. And as that happened, my desires to do other things, for other practices, started to fall away. It started way back then. This is 1.5 years ago at least. And I was already losing the inspiration, the drive to pull cards. Because you know why I was pulling cards? Because I wasn't happy in the present. That's the truth. It was a coping mechanism. And I knew that. And I stated that on many occasions. I was aware. This is a coping mechanism for me. And it helps me to feel special, really. It helps me to feel special. It helps me to feel connected instead of finding that connection in myself. And again, I'm not judging, and I'm not judging anybody who does this or any practice. I'm just explaining what has happened and what I have realized. It was a tool, and now it's time to put down the tool. That's what it feels like. Instead of looking for connection in an activity, a specific activity, and an action in a practice, which then takes on a life of its own, and it kind of feeds identity. It's more about, I just feel myself wanting more, to go to the source, to have nothing in between, no middleman. Whether it is meditation, like a formal meditative session, because I do believe that this perspective could be considered a form of meditation when you're practicing it all day. Yeah. But formal meditation practice, formal practice of any kind, really. Pulling the cards, all of these things that I used as a way to feel connected, as, you know, and it was giving permission, and that's great, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. Again, I just feel a drive to remove anything in between, anything that could be confused for presence. We start out with finding doorways into it, but then I feel like it's time to realize we don't even need the doorways. Now we've become dependent on the doorways. If the doorways aren't there, then I can't get to presence. You know what I'm saying? But the doorways were never in the things. They were never in the practices. They were never outside of you. That was just an excuse. It was helping you give yourself permission. Now it's time to give yourself permission, whether that doorway that you think that thing was is there or not. I am tired of seeking. I am tired of the seeking mindset. And again, maybe these practices will come back to me at a certain point. Maybe they won't. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. If they were to happen, they would happen spontaneously for the joy of them in that moment. It would feel good. It would feel right. It wouldn't be a means to an end. I would already be in the state of presence, of experiencing, of connection with myself, not something beyond, greater than, not something higher. Me. Fully my being, with the awareness that that is I am. That I am existing. No labels, nothing covering that. And looking at the naked existence and the beauty of that. That is where all joy and peace and love arises from. And I know that, not just conceptually. And in fact, I know that knowing it conceptually can be a distraction from experiencing it directly. And so, all of the thinking, I have this habit of thinking, and I want to experience that differently, to recognize that in the purest form, of existence. I'm seeing that Shakti is everywhere, in everything. Shakti is everything. Everything is Shakti. And when I see it as that, when I see the pure existence, the beingness of even something like thought, I see that the thought is just a disguise for existence. And then I can look at existence, feel our oneness, our sameness reflected, feel the existence looking back at me, and here we are in a communion. And it doesn't matter what form, what shape that existence was taking. I have undressed it, I've peeled it back, and here we are naked together. And whatever arises from that place, fine, beautiful. Whatever arises, I just want to celebrate whatever arises. I don't want to try. I don't want to force. I don't want to push. It doesn't feel good. And these practices started from a place of trying, from a place of efforting, from a place of escaping, of looking away from what is because I wasn't happy with what is. And when I got happy with what is, magic happened. And I know that's how it works. Magic happens when I'm happy with what is. But more than the magic happening, I'm already happy. I'm already feeling good. And then yes, things come in to support that, things that have been waiting to come in, things that will show up the moment that I realize I don't need them because I'm not confusing them for the source of my joy. It doesn't mean I don't get to enjoy them, but I get to see them clearly, experience them directly. I get to shine my joy all over them. I get to bring my joy into that instead of saying that this is creating my joy. My joy is here. And it's sustained by myself, by my being, by my perspective every moment. It doesn't require anything. It doesn't take input from anybody. All it takes is existence and the recognition of existence, and that is eternal and effortless and natural. I have heard it said that when practice is begun, when we set out on this journey and we dive into the practices, that it's very likely, very common that we reach a place of what we think is enlightenment, because there is a peace that has arisen. But it's an artificial, temporary kind of peace. It doesn't last, and it's not meant to last. It's a part of the dissolution of self. The self that set out wanting to be enlightened, wanting to connect, is the self that perceives itself as unenlightened and disconnected. And then we reach a place where we think we have achieved. We think we have achieved enlightenment and connection, not realized it, because we've been doing the practices. And so they're linked. They're linked to the experience. I did these practices and I got this result. That's the way that we think that it works. That's just how it starts. That is the way brains work. I meditate to become enlightened. And I reach these states of peace and bliss, and I pull tarot to feel connected to the universe. And I get these messages and all of this incredible information, and I understand so much. And then something collapses. Because the self that wanted enlightenment, that wanted connection, that perceived itself as unenlightened and disconnected, and so was seeking, begins to fold in on itself. And then the feelings go away. The feeling of connection, the feeling of enlightenment that we had associated with that, this peace, this bliss. And we're doing the practices, and now it's not working. It's not working. It's not giving me the results that it gave me before. No. And then the desire perhaps wanes. What's wrong? What am I doing wrong? I was using these tools that I was given, handed to me like tools. I was using them as tools. I was using them as tools to escape the present moment, to get somewhere else, to get to this place that I called enlightened, that I thought would be better than now, that I thought would feel different, that I thought would feel more connected. And really all I did was build a spiritual ego, right? This self that thought it was getting somewhere, maybe not in the world of material things, maybe not in a career, but it thought it was getting somewhere spiritually. It thought it was improving itself. It thought it was evolving. It thought it was escaping suffering. It thought it was helping the world. It thought it had a purpose, that it was here to change something, do something great, that it's a hero, right? But now the feelings are gone. There's just anger and frustration. And the practice is continued, but it hurts. It hurts. And I feel that what that points to is that it's time to realize the practices don't do anything. And I've heard this described by others. Reaching a point where you realize all of it is pointless. The practices, they don't get you anywhere. But they're meant to frustrate you. They're meant to help you realize this. They're meant to help you realize these tools that you thought would dig you out of this hole are digging you deeper. There are no tools to get you out of the present. And furthermore, you don't need tools to dig in deeper. This, your bare hands, that's what you want. You don't want something between you and now. You don't want a tool in between you and your experience of right now. You want to put your hands in it. You want to be buried in it. You want to stick your fingers in the earth, not a shovel, not a pickaxe. You don't want a tool. You want to dig. Just you. Just you with your human hands. You want to dig in deep and be right the fuck here, right the fuck now. Enough with the tools, enough with the teachings, enough with the practices. You want to see reality clearly. So stop putting things between you and it. It's time to put down the thing that carried me here with gratitude, with appreciation, but see that now I'm just dragging it. Now it's getting in the way. It's time to stand on my own 2 feet. And it's time to stop walking away and make a home right here. Not someplace else, not in some imagined future, some imagined other experience of existence. Right here, right now, with what is. What is calling to me. It's singing, it's saying, I'm right here. Everything that you're looking for everywhere else, it's right here. Just see it. Open your eyes. It exists. I exist. It's existence. You're looking for existence. You're looking for existing. See it. Right in front of you. Reflecting your existing. Looking back at you. Showering you with love. With appreciation for our shared being. That's it. Time for me, in my experience, it's time for me to let every practice fall away. It started with Qigong, and then it was meditation, and now it's tarot. No more of anything as a means to an end. I just want to be here right now. And whatever arises, fine. Whatever arises, beautiful. I don't expect it to take me anywhere. I don't ask it to take me anywhere. I don't want it to take me anywhere. I don't want guidance. I don't want clarity. I want to be here. And that is so simple. There is nothing needed for that. Nothing is needed for that. It is just a matter of putting everything else down. And yes, there's fear. There's fear from ego because it created a strong identity from those practices. If I'm not doing this thing, then who am I? Exactly who I've always been. Nothing and nobody in particular. Conscious, vibrant, living, loving, exuberant, ecstatic, exquisite, aware, existing. What could be better than that? There isn't anything better than that. And all of this is the game, and that's fun, and that's fine. But I am most excited by the existence of it. and not the content. And even if what the content looks like is nothing, is no game being played, it still exists. Even if the canvas is blank, it's there. Even if the canvas appears full, it's still blank. It is existence, and it's beautiful in its rawest, purest form. I don't want guidance, and I don't want to give guidance, because that too is a lie. There's nowhere to go. I don't want clarity, and I don't want to give clarity, because I want everyone to open their own eyes, because that's what I want for myself. And that's all it takes. There's nothing to understand. There's nothing to figure out. All of the asking of why is just a distraction. There was one reading, the one reading that I did for myself that really changed my relationship with all of this. And I am grateful for that reading. In that reading, I was seeking clarity just about what I was feeling. Why am I feeling this? What's happening? And that reading very clearly said, stop asking why. Stop seeking clarity. Stop trying to understand. It's all just a distraction from being here right now. And that's what you want. And that reading started to really officially dissolve my relationship to tarot, because I was realizing, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm escaping the present. I'm looking for a way out. It's just disguised in this trying to understand, trying to articulate it, explain it. And then I stopped wanting to read for other people, because I felt that that's all that I was perpetuating for them. And again, not that that was like a mistake or a bad thing. It just didn't feel good. It stopped feeling good. My heart was no longer in it. It's not. Because I realized all of the practices point to the same thing. Their superfluousness. That they are unnecessary. That they are distractions. I believe it's designed this way. To realize it's time to put down the tools. And recognize that you only pick up a tool when you think you want to accomplish something. And when you realize that there is nothing to do, there is no work to be done, there is nothing to accomplish, then lay the tools down. Lay yourself down in this dirt and dig in. Stay here. Be here. That's all I have to say. And this is not intended as guidance. If there's one thing that I want to do, it's be present and demonstrate that. And if that is a form of calling home, then it may be that. But mostly, it's for me. It's because this is where I want to be. And if there's an expression that arises from the joy, from the feeling of being in this place, of being home, of being here, and recognizing this is it. This is what I want. This is everything. If that expression arises, then it arises, and I appreciate the shape that existence has taken. And sometimes that shape, many times, more often than not, that shape is silence, and will be silence. And really, there is no difference between silence and sound. It is all the shape of existence. It is all resonating with the joy of being. And it is all saying the same thing. You are here. We are here. We are home. And we are so happy to see each other. I love you. Welcome home. Always.